Damn, man. I thought I was going to get at least a month off from having to grill Linky Boy. But just last week, I had his ass on the grill, and it looks like once again he has run into some profusely negative stuff about him and his program. And because he's such a douche nozzle, I'm going to have to throw his ass right back on the grill. Let's talk about it. Regulators, mount up, to steal a famous movie quote from Young Guns 1 and 2. Great movies, by the way. Go back and check them out if you haven't watched those movies. But the Four Horsemen shout-outs of the day go to Killer Breeze, James, Justin Goss, and Sean James are mounted up and saddled up and ready to go and help us with today's college football invasion. And if you want your badge, you can get deputized and get your random Four Horsemen shout like they just did, as well as possibly be the comment of the day, which is coming later in the show. All you got to do is hit that join button next to the subscribe button. It's not $2.99 a month. That's just 75 cents a week. That's just a half a bottle of water for the outlaw. And you can also do the big four, which are all completely free. And that's like, share, comment, and subscribe. Sharing and subscribing are most important. They get this party crunk. Now, I can also be reached on X, a.k.a. Twitter, at OCF Productions. Now, getting right to it here. Now, as the notorious podcaster USC J is for Jackass likes to say, we're in the sauce. We're in the sauce. We're rolling around in sauce. We're in the sauce, boy. We are in the sauce. You know, that sauce that you get in your pants when your bowels ain't quite right and you shit yourself because you're not doing something quite right. And that's USC. They're rolling around in that dookie-doo sauce once again because Lincoln Riley once again is basically shitting the bed, for lack of a better term, in recruiting. They start out fast and they start fizzling at the end. I guess these recruits, after they do their little visit with USC, they start going and seeing other campuses and whatnot and seeing what a real campus should look like and that kind of deal. And they end up decommitting. And it's always seems like it's on the defensive side of the ball where he's having these issues. And this is after they ballyhooed that big hire from UCLA, which I never understood what the big deal was. That guy at UCLA wasn't that great. And it was just a lazy hire by Lincoln Riley, once again, because it's on the defensive side of the ball, and he's never going to get that through his thick skull, I don't believe. And now not only are you getting out recruited by Oregon out there on the West Coast, but now you got to deal with Ohio State and Michigan and Wisconsin and Penn State even to some degree in the Big Ten. You thought this was going to be some kind of great label for you, but it looks like that it's actually working a little bit against you. Now I'm going to bring something up here for y'all real quick to show y'all that I'm not just trolling about this. And here it is right here. As you can see, USC loses 5-star defensive end commitments on back-to-back days. I was just going to do it on the one they lost the other day, but this works out even better because it's now much more current and much more very much still hot and sizzling on the grill. Scrolling on down here, it says over the last 2 days, they've seen 2 of their best commitments leave the 2025 class. First on Tuesday, it was Georgia's Isaiah Gibson, who is currently on an official visit with Ohio State. On Wednesday, it got worse for USC as they lost yet another elite edge rusher from the state of Georgia, that being Justice Terry, who reopened the process and moved on. Gibson is ranked as the nation's number 36 overall player, while Terry is the country's number 7 player according to 247 Sports. So, once again, USC cannot hold on to a defensive recruit. They've done this the past 2 or 3 years, it seems like. They'll get these great recruits, and we all have decommitments. But it just seems more profound for USC on the defensive side of the ball, and that's the area where they're lacking, and it's the area that's going to continue to cost them any chance at ever being taken seriously as a national contender for the playoffs and even the Big Ten title, in my opinion. So, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, y'all think we're just grilling on you and trolling you, but the facts are right there in front of you. The guy cannot keep defensive players. Whatever he's doing wrong. And I just think y'all going to continue to be in denial about this stuff until he just bottoms out. If he goes 7-5 this year, they might fire him. But I don't know. He's got a big contract, so it might even be a big buyout for USC. Now, the other thing I want to touch on before I get out of here is the fact that, once again, it seems like USC is trying to dodge the SEC. Now, they'll tell you that we're doing this because we got such a hard schedule now with the Big Ten and blah, 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 which we all know is horseman year because 3 or 4 of the teams in the bottom half of the Big Ten are like cupcakes. Teams like Purdue, Indiana, Maryland, sometimes Rutgers. Rutgers seems like they're actually getting a little bit better. They're more of a middle-of-the-road team now. But still, that conference is not really – it's really not that tough. I mean, not as tough as you're trying to make it out to be. While it's one of the tougher conferences in America, it's not to that degree. I mean, if LSU can play both UCLA and USC in the same season, what's the deal with y'all? I mean, Alabama, every year, y'all give us hell about playing cupcakes late in the year, but we play a tough non-conference game every single year. And that's why we only play 8 conference games, because our conference is tough enough where 8 games is enough, and we schedule 1, sometimes 2 major programs from Division I, and then we have a little cupcake at the end. Y'all have y'all's cupcakes within conference, like I've said before. And now they're trying to back out of the Ole Miss game. Well, not try, they did. From what I'm understanding, they have officially gotten out of the Ole Miss game. And like I said, they'll try to allude to the fact they're playing such a tough conference schedule now, and they don't need to be playing those kind of games, which is horseman year. But that's not it at all. It's, number one, they got their ass completely embarrassed the last time they were on the field with the SEC, with my team, Alabama, beating them 52-6 like a drum in a homecoming opponent. And then they backed out of the game with us, citing COVID. And then they tried to back out of the LSU game, which was too close dated for them to get out of, I believe. But this game, I think they want out of, not only because they're scared of playing the SEC again, but they don't want to play Lane Kiffin, who is their former head coach. Lane Kiffin got fired by USC on the tarmac. So I'd venture to say that if Lane got up on USC in a game, he probably wouldn't relent. As a matter of fact, I think if Lane was up on USC like 63-14 or something, and there was 3 or 4 minutes left to go, he would try to drive down the field and put 70 on the board. Pretty sure that Lane Kiffin would do that to USC. And I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why USC wanted to punk out of the game, because they didn't want their current coach, who's already embarrassed himself, to get embarrassed by a coach they actually fired. And y'all supposed to have such a big, huge recruiting prowess, and it's supposed to have such an extravagant advantage with all the greatness out there and the wonderful things and the entertainment in L.A., with people shitting on the streets and playing transgender volleyball on the regular. And it's just not flying like you think it's flying, Lincoln. That kite that you're trying to fly, man, there's no air for it, man. The air's gone out of you, man. I just don't see it getting any better for USC. I think if he goes 7-5 or 8-4 this year, y'all probably should fire him. If y'all don't, y'all might keep him another season just because of the buyout. But I definitely think by next year, Lincoln Riley will no longer be the head coach at USC. And if he still is, well, then that's on USC. That's on the USC people out there for being stupid enough to keep this guy. And that's all I got to say about that. If you don't mind, there's a little heart down here. If you want to make a one-time donation, Smash that heart, throw a few dollars in the coffers, help us keep the lights on. And also, as I said earlier before, you can be a member of the Outlaw Posse. You can get your badge. You can get deputized, get a random 4 Horsemen shout out on the podcast, as well as possibly be the comment of the day. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.